Well, I hope I can make you guys money. That's the goal. That's fine. Cell phone.
Did you sign in? Yes, sir, I did.
All right. So this is my first class since a long time, since pre-COVID.
Welcome back to the grind.
Thank you. So I've been doing my own thing during COVID, doing my own deals. I love teaching. I love mentoring. I've mentored hundreds of agents in this office. And I've learned a lot doing it, a lot on my own. I've been doing this since 2004. I've bought and sold my own properties. That's how I got into real estate. I never thought that I would be representing anybody. I thought it was just for myself. And then people started calling me and asking me to help them. So what I have learned is you need to make your daily contacts. I mean, you're going to hear it over and over and over again. You know, I'm going to be teaching you guys everything about real estate, everything, like from talking to people, taking them out to showing them properties, how to send them comps, how to get into the MLS, how to get on the computer, how to send them comps, go over comps, how to be ready to take a listing appointment. We're gonna do listing presentations. We're gonna do buyer presentations. I'm gonna teach you all of that, but none of that matters unless you're making money, right? This is why you got into real estate. So I have leads with me. I'm gonna give you guys leads today. Okay, no one's ever done this before. Wow. I have leads that I think are the best leads possible. Now, there's a lot of people that preach expireds, you know, they call expireds. An expired listing is someone who went on the market, tried to sell the property, it didn't sell. And that's a good lead because they previously tried to sell and you know that they are a potential seller, right? But people that really need to sell are people that are in trouble right now. Foreclosure, pre-foreclosure. So getting straight into it. So here's so there's a process in California. I can start anywhere. I'm just going to get into it because we're going to be learning every day, and I just want you guys to make money, right? So it's no point in wasting time or beating around the bush. Let's make money. So in California, if you lend money to somebody and you secure that loan against their home and they stop paying you, okay? So you loan money to your friend and you say, look, I love you, but you know, I need collateral. And that note gets recorded against the house. And then they stop paying you, right? You can't just take their home away from them. In California, the process is you have to record a notice of default. Okay. And it has to be made public notice that the property is not being paid, the mortgage is not being paid. And then after that, you can record a notice of sale. And then the property is going to go to auction. So that auction happens on the courthouse steps outside. And you come to, say, Pomona, the courthouse in Pomona, and you go there and you're looking around at this huge patio and you don't see anyone. The auction's scheduled for 3 minutes from now. You can't imagine where it's going to be. And all of a sudden, people start coming out from the woodworks, like, where did all these people come from? And an auctioneer says, you know, we're going to be auctioning in 1900 Vermont Street. everyone here for the auction, show me your money. And then everyone who's there to bid on the property is going to have cashier's checks with them, made to themselves. So if I have a check made to myself, I can endorse the back, pay to the order of, and assign it, right? So I'm going to go up to the auctioneer. I'm going to show him my checks in my envelope. He's going to say, you're registered to bid. And he's going to ask everyone there. Auction starts at whatever the auction starts at. And then the bidding starts, and whoever wins the bid now owns technically the property. And that's the process. Yeah.
When they auction a house, when they look at who's bidding, do they look at the amount of money they have to actually purchase the whole house downright, or just the down payment?
Can you repeat your question?
Do they look at how much
Who?
the auctioneer that are auctioning the house? Do they look at
So the lender that's not getting paid is the one that files the notice of default. They're the one that files the notice of sale. Going straight to auctions, Lawrence, is amazing. And then it's up to the lender how much they're gonna ask the opening bid to be, right? And the lender is the one in charge because they're the one foreclosing.
and they're qualifying the people based on the checks that they've.
It's cash.
Cash.
At the foreclosure auction, it's cash.
How much cash do you take with you? I mean,
Check.
Right.
%.
Now, I'm not advocating that you guys buy the foreclosure.
right.
I don't want you to buy the foreclosure. I want you to approach the homeowners before the property goes to auction.
Right.
I have leads with me of people that their properties are going to auction. That's what I'm giving you. Okay. I want you guys to call these people, and I want you to try to list their properties before they go to auction.
Okay.
Any comments? Chime in anytime, Lauren, because Lauren in the back, you guys should know, Lauren's the first American title.
Morning.
And Lauren has always been my go-to source. If I am bringing a cash client with me to an auction, I am always emailing Lauren prior to that auction. Lauren, can you check title for me and tell me anything I need to know about this property before I buy it at auction? I mean, that is 1,000%. Because when you buy something at auction, you can get hurt. You know, the people that are doing it as a business, they buy a lot of them. So if they lose money on one or two or three, it's okay because they're making money on others. But when you're only buying one, you got to be really, really careful.
Loans get wiped out, right, in a foreclosure. Taxes do not, lawsuits do not. Leases do not.
Yeah, the most powerful contract in real estate is a lease. If you can believe it, the most powerful contract is a lease. Why? Because if a property goes to foreclosure and there's a tenant in the property that has a lease, foreclosure doesn't break the lease. It'll wipe out millions of dollars of loans, but it won't wipe out a lease. Crazy, yeah. Yeah.
So I went like 2 months ago for a probate sale in the court.
Okay, well, let's start back. What happened?
I went 2 months ago
Went 2 months ago to court.
for a probate sale.
Probate, okay, so
And then-
probate is when someone dies without a will.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to understand the difference.
Yeah, no, I want everyone to know.
Yeah.
So what happens in California, if you own a property and you don't have, and your property's not in a trust with a will, and you die, the court needs to determine who the successor is that's gonna get the money, right? So, who gets the money? And if there's no relative, it could go straight to the state, right?
But the process is pretty similar, right? For the,
So the process is, the reason that there is probate is to pay creditors, right? Pay creditors. So this person who passed away owed money, credit cards, whatever. When a property goes into probate, there's an announcement to the world, hello, this person passed away. If they owed you money, now's the time to come and collect it. We have a property that we're gonna sell and we're gonna pay off the estate. Whatever's left of the proceeds are gonna go to the state. Okay, unless there's a relative that comes forward. And normally a relative will be assigned as the to clear up the estate. If there is no relative, the court will assign a court appointed. So you went to this probate auction. What happened?
very similar. So I found this a great property in Pacific Palisade, and my client from Chicago, they're like retired couples, are really were interesting on this property because the price was under market and it was great location, really nice. So they flew from Chicago and showed them the properties. They liked it a
How'd you
lot.
find it?
The probate,
Yeah, how'd you find the property?
I'm only in the Pacific Palisade and it was actually on the market.
It was on the MLS.
Yeah, it was on the MLS, but I was like searching like which property I can find under
So
like,
when you find a property that is in probate on the MLS, sometimes it will say court confirmation required or no court confirmation required. So if there's no court confirmation required, it's just like a regular sale. If there is court confirmation required, then it's gonna happen where you went. So they had an accepted offer. And then they applied for a court date for a hearing. And then the winner that the guy who had his offer accepted by whoever was in charge, the real estate agent, whoever had signed it. That offer is really not final until the court approves it. So there's gonna be a court date that you went to
Yeah.
where anyone can stand up in court and bid for that property. They can overbid. So they'll bid more than that offer is accepted at.
yeah. So
If
they
no one
sent-
else bids, that buyer gets it.
Yeah, so they send like the pre-bid offer and basically they say the starting price is 1.8
Okay,
and as is 10 days, no contingency. And you need to come to the court with like 10% cashier check
yes.
and another cashier check of the 10% from the final price you're willing to put.
Okay.
And then last minute, I recommend my client not to go for this property, even though it was a great price. But it was like a big project and they're just moving from Chicago. They're like, you're 70 and I felt it's like too much of a risk, you know? And I put a mold inspection on the,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah,
How are you gonna get paid on this property?
I didn't.
Okay, but if you had, it would be because of the listing, because it was,
Yes.
okay, so the listing agent was gonna.
Oh, why? Because usually you don't get?
So if you stand up, so usually you will get paid, if it's listed in the MLS.
Yeah, it was listed and say like 2.5% commission.
Okay, so that's good. So the challenge for all of us, like it's not a challenge, it's just something we have to be conscious of. If you, anything that anytime you're talking to a seller or telling another buyer or agent about, you have to make sure that there's a listing agreement. If there's no listing agreement, the seller's not on the hook to get paid.
This is
So
in the MLS, I can assume.
MLS, okay, so the MLS, let's talk about the MLS. And you guys need to know this. This is, we're getting money. This is why we're in this business. There's a difference between residential agents and commercial agents. Though they're different, they live in different worlds. We live in the residential arena with a lot of contracts and everything to protect us using these contracts. We have cooperating commissions. We advertise commissions in the MLS. When someone enters a listing in the MLS and then advertises CSO, that's commission to the selling office. So I always look on every listing, what's the CSO? It's got to be 3%, 2.5%. Sometimes sadly 2%, sometimes $500. That's why you got to really look at the CSO. When you go on the MLS and you look at the agent detail. Yeah. CSO is commission to the selling office. Now, another confusing term, selling office means the buying office. It's crazy. The sellers, so you have the seller's agent and the listing agent. Seller's agent is the listing agent. The buying agent is the selling agent. Don't ask,
that's right.
I didn't make it up.
Yeah.
Listing agent, seller's agent, buying agent, buyer's agent.
Buyer's agent.
Buyer's agent, buying agent.
Right.
Selling agent, selling agent, buyer's agent, buying agent, all the same. I know, that's just what it is. Okay, so CSO, commission to the selling office. CSO, and that should be at least 2.5%. Whenever I go on a listing appointment or I talk to a seller, they're trying to talk about commissions. My dialogue is whatever commission we're talking about, we have to offer at least 2.5% in the MLS to be competitive. If they're offering 2% and everyone else is offering 2.5%, it's just not, they're not going to be competitive. When we put a property on the market, we want our property sold. The seller wants their property sold. We don't want to have any disadvantage. If we put a lower commission, we're basically telling agents, don't show our property, show the other person's property that's offering you more money. Everyone is money driven, right? And the seller has to understand. It's such a small amount to make a, if the seller is saying, no, I want to list my property for 4%, 2%. Say, no, like, why would you do that to yourself? You're hurting yourself as a seller. Don't you want to compete with all the other properties on the market? And you can show them the listings and how much they're being offered. For sure, they're offering at least 2.5%. So, you know, commissions, we all have to fight for our commissions, but this is part of our dialogue. Any questions on commission? Because that's important. Oh, so I was telling you the difference between commercial and residential. So we use in CAR, we have all our contracts. We use listing agreements to guarantee commissions. So when we sign a listing agreement, the listing agreement that we get signed is for the whole commission. Let's just call it 5%. Okay. On page 1 of the listing agreement, it says the total commission you are going to pay is 5%. And we are offering in the MLS 2.5%. It's actually spelled out. Okay. So it protects the seller too, because the seller, you know, we're not taking a 5% listing and offering 1% in the MLS. Okay. Does that make sense so far? So the first page of the listing agreement tells the seller how much the total commission they're going to pay is and how much we are offering in the MLS. Now, here's the catch. When we put a listing in the MLS and we advertise, we're paying 2.5% to the buyer's agent, the broker's on the hook for that commission. Okay. The broker's protected because there's a listing agreement to back it that the seller agreed to pay the commission. Okay, let's think about this slowly and carefully. Yeah. We're at the listing office. It's our listing. We're getting a listing agreement with the seller. All the buyer's agents out there have nothing to do with the seller. The only person that has something signed with the seller is us as the listing agent, right? Every buyer and buyer's agent out there has nothing to do with the seller. They see on the MLS what we're offering. So because our brokerage is an MLS member, we're guaranteeing that commission. Okay, so the broker's on the hook for it. So the broker is protected by the listing agreement. Okay, so that's how it is. Any questions? Please stop me anytime. There is no question that's stupid or anything, because if you don't get it, I'm sure there's someone else that also doesn't.
We're saying the broker and the commission is both protected.
So the buyer's broker is protected by the MLS.
Okay.
Listing broker is protected by the listing agreement. All right, so it could be that the listing, now what happens is actually the property is going to have an accepted offer. It's going to go into escrow, right? And the proceeds are going to go through escrow. So all that money that the buyer paid, escrow is going to have, and then they're going to distribute it, you know, to anyone who is owed money, and the commissions will come out of that. So escrow will disperse that money. There are things that could happen, you know, but basically the listing agreement protects everyone for the commission. Now,
It's the listing broker anyway.
the listing broker is the one who signs it and signs it with the seller. So we come from a place of sharing as residential agents. We share, like, this is what we do. We advertise commissions. Now, in commercial, they don't have an MLS like we have. We have CLAW, right? Combined Los Angeles West Side, whatever it's called now. And all these other cooperating MLSs. In the commercial world, they don't have that. They have LoopNet, they have Crexy, they have different platforms where you can advertise a commercial property. If you really look on and go through these commercial websites, you'll very rarely see a commission being offered, very rarely. And even if they did put a commission in writing on that website, it's not guaranteed. So because our broker is an MLS member, we're guaranteeing there's an agreement that we sign with the MLS, and as well as every other broker. That's why it works. In the commercial world, this doesn't exist. So when you write an offer on a commercial property, you need to have your commission agreed to in advance in writing somehow. And in the commercial world, look, I don't blame commercial agents. This is the environment they were raised in. They were not raised to share. You know, they joined a commercial office, they were given a phone book, they were said, start calling all these people, find out who's a seller. When you get a lead, give it to me. You know, this is the office saying that. And then what they do is they find a property and then they'll first tell their own clients. If they don't have their own clients, they'll tell someone in their office. You know, by the time it leaves their office, they've already exhausted all of their own leads for it. You know, this is just how it is in commercial. In residential, we put it out there immediately in the MLS. So you're looking at me like, what's going on?
No.
No, okay, but this is true.
Yeah.
I want you guys to get paid.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, conversations that I'll have with a listing agent are, can I send you a cooperating broker compensation? And this is a form that we will be going over in this class, in classes. It's called, so there's different ways of getting a commission is you have a listing agreement, right? Or you write an offer and get it accepted. You don't have to worry about it if it's listed because the CSO is advertising. But we have a listing agreement or we have a cooperating broker compensation agreement. Okay, if a property is not listed, like an agent stands up in an office meeting here and says, I have a property that I want, that are there anybody, does anybody have a buyer for my property? And they stand up in the meeting and you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I have someone that might be interested in that property. You go up to that person after the office meeting and you ask them, you know, I think I have someone for this property. Do you have a listing? Do you have a signed listing? And they say no. Okay, now you have to figure out how you're gonna secure the commission with the seller before you tell your buyer. The danger of telling your buyer about a property before your commission is
Get bypassed.
the buyer can go straight to the seller,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you don't want that to happen. And the buyer's not gonna wait for you. Buyer could care less about you, right? So what should happen is the person who stood up should either have a listing or they will use a form called single party compensation agreement. It's a very important form. Single party compensation agreement. And that form,
I'm sorry, real quick.
yes,
Just to get the name of the previous document.
listing agreement. Listing agreement is the number one.
All right, yeah.
Cooperating broker compensation agreement is the other one. And then this one is called single party. Single party, just single party.
And how would I classify this? These are the guaranteed ways to get
Commission,
commission.
yes, single party. Okay, now, a single party is not a listing agreement. A single party says that a commission will be paid if the seller accepts an offer from the single party named on that contract. That's it. It only obligates the seller for a single party. It's not a listing. A listing says anyone I sell the property to and you accept, I get paid. A single party says you're only on the hook to pay a commission if this one person buys the property. So no seller should object to signing a single party. I mean, why would they? Now, they will.
So this is when you already have the buyer.
This is when someone stands up at a meeting or tells you about a property that's not listed. And this goes for commercial too, right? This is a property that a commercial property not in the MLS doesn't mean anything for you because there is no MLS. There is no commercial MLS. There's like MLS is a guarantee of commission.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, we have that in residential. So
Somebody sets up, you have the buyer for that.
So, right, so now you want the other agent to sign the cooperating broker agreement, right?
Okay,
Now, have you heard the term pocket listing?
yes, but
Pocket, so people talk about pocket listings. Do you have any pocket listings? A pocket listing, people use that term to mean anything not in the MLS, but that's not the definition of a pocket listing. A true pocket listing means a signed listing that's not in the MLS. That's a true pocket listing.
Sign.
A signed listing, not in the MLS. Now, let's say we have a listing that's signed. Our seller told us we don't want it in the MLS. Great. Now we're gonna stand up at meetings, right? And we're gonna tell people in our office about it. And then when that agent comes up to us and says they might have an interested buyer for our property, we are gonna give them a cooperating broker compensation agreement, and we can sign that because we're protected by our listing agreement. No problem. Right now, if I don't have a listing and you come up to me and you say, JJ, I have a buyer for that property, I'm gonna say, great, what's your buyer's name? Don't be afraid to give it to me. I'm not gonna go after your buyer. What's your buyer's name? Okay, I'm gonna go get a single party agreement with the seller, and then I'll either put both our names on that single party as getting paid, or I'll sign the single party, and then I'll give you the cooperating broker compensation agreement, because we're protected. That's the normal.
It's like two contracts.
Yes.
Between,
Which are necessary when you
Two
don't have,
agents.
yes, which are necessary when you don't have a listing agreement.
yeah, that makes sense. 'Cause
Okay.
we're just covering,
Yes.
yeah, we're covering our butts on both sides.
Now, the reason that I'm sharing this with you guys is because I don't want you going through a whole deal and not getting paid at the end. That would really be horrible. wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So when you use a single party compensation agreement, do you? I lost my-
So okay, so that's okay. So let's define what is a single party agreement? What's a listing agreement? What's a single party agreement? So
Oh, I remember the question.
yes,
So is it specific to the buyer that's coming into the
a single
transaction?
party is specific to one buyer. So if you have two different people that you want to show the property to, you need two single parties. You can't put two different people on the same single party because the very name of the contract is.
Single party.
That makes sense.
Something.
Okay, so if a seller is like, I'm sick of signing all these things, then you just say to the seller, sign a listing agreement. Then we don't need to. Yeah.
And you have to get this agreement signed before you show them the house, just.
Before I even tell my buyer that this house exists, I'm getting a single party. Because if I call my buyer and I say, I heard about something. They're just gonna be calling me every 10 seconds. Let me see it. What am I gonna say? I'm the one delaying your deal, waiting for my commission to get signed. They're gonna, right? They're gonna be like, well, I can't tell them that. They'll think I'm a jerk. Yeah.
So now, the relationship with the buyer. You have the single party compensation agreement. How do you approach them with it?
Approach who?
The buyer.
So now that I have my
Yeah.
now I'm my commission's done.
Right.
So now great.
Guaranteed,
Make
okay.
a showing. I call my buyers. I have a property I think you're gonna be interested in. Let's go see it. When are you available?
All right.
Right? I mean, for the buyer, you're doing them a favor. I mean, you're showing your buyer a property that's not listed. No one else knows about this property. You're giving your buyer a fantastic opportunity to buy something. Like right now, there's such limited inventory. If I can bring a buyer something that no one knows about, that's amazing, right? Now, usually what can happen is they might be asking a little more than market value, but you know what? In the long run, they pay a little extra, they get it, and they don't have to go through multiple offers. And time usually cures all wounds in real estate. So, there's a chart going back to like 1930, and it shows the average price of a property all the way from 1930 all the way to present. If you buy a property at any year and you go 10 years later, it's worth more with the ups and downs. Now, the past 10, 12 years have been weird. I haven't looked at that chart recently, but I would assume it's still got to be more. 10 years later, you're going to be worth more. No matter, even if you buy the high, you buy the, So. Did I lose everybody or everyone's on board? Okay, so we got to protect our commission, number one. Now, leads. So the most important thing that you do today, you're going to hear it all the time, but this is really how you're going to make a living and hopefully thrive, you need to block some time every single day to make your calls and add to your database. So I'll never, when I first got trained, there was a coach, he stood up in the front of the room and everyone in there is brand new. Everyone's so excited. And he stands up and he says, if you guys listen to me, you'll be successful. And if you don't, you won't. And I'm thinking to myself, who would not listen to this guy? Like, wow, who wouldn't? But the hardest thing that you're going to do in your career is block out that time to make your daily calls. And from my experience, from what I've seen, the people that block the time and make their calls are the successful ones in this business, and they have 80% of all the business. Okay. So there's the 80-20 principle. 20% of the agents have 80% of the business. How it is.
In commercial, when is the best time to cold call?
In commercial,
Yes.
when is the best time to cold call?
Yes.
So-
best time.
I don't think there's any bad time. It's whenever you can reach them. So, if anyone that you're calling, it's whenever you can reach them. I don't think there's any bad time. Probably I wouldn't call anyone after 9 p.m.
No, I wouldn't either.
So, right.
But in your situation, what is your favorite time?
I also I like mornings. So Gary Keller wrote a book called The One Thing. And in that book, I would recommend everyone.
What is the name of the book? I'm
It's
sorry?
called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And there was a study done that showed when people are most likely to say yes and no. And people are more likely to say yes in the morning and right after lunch. So when in the morning, people are energized, and right after lunch, they come back, they're pretty energized. But as that energy wears off, so the study that was done was a parole board. And when do inmates get parole, get approved for parole? And they found that 90-something% of inmates got their parole either in the morning or right after lunch, and everyone else didn't. So, yeah. So if you're, God forbid, in jail and you're going up for your meeting, make sure your meeting is first thing in the morning or right after lunch. That'll give you the best chance. But it's an important thing, because when I schedule my listing appointments, I like to schedule them in the morning or right after lunch to make sure everyone is energized.
The listing appointments is when you are.
Listing
that
appointment
contact.
or after dinner or right after dinner, not.
It's not the calls, but when you already have.
This is like when I have an appointment to go list a property. Yeah. I want to make sure that everyone is energized and not. Because no one's signing a contract if they don't have energy. And my goal is to get the listing signed. Right. That's why I'm going. So I just want to make sure everyone is at the top of their game. And I'm also conscious of my own body clock. Like, you guys know when you're tired, right? You should go when you're most awake and energized. That energy just spills over. So, all right. Now, the most important thing that I said today was block time every day to make calls. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys leads. These are people that unfortunately have not been able to make their mortgage payments. The whole world is closing in around them, they feel like, and they've been given notices that their property is going to go to a public auction. So you're here to help them. Like every single person that you come in contact with, you're not asking for their business, begging for their business. No, you're there to help them. You are a real estate agent. You have the power of listing their property, marketing their property, guiding them, and helping them get the most money for their property. That's your job. So you're helping them. And every conversation I have, it's coming from a place of assistance and help and making sure that they get the most money that they can for their property. So when I make my calls or when I talk to someone, it's, how are you? I'm sorry that I was notified about your property going up for auction. You really just have a few seconds before they hang up on you. So you gotta get your message, because they're upset. So hi, my name is JJ Wallack. I'm in the Keller Williams office in Beverly Hills. I'm really sorry. I saw your property come up for auction. You do have a chance to save your property, you do have a chance to still get some money out of your property. You would get the most by listing it. We can have dialogue. You're going to get better at your dialogue and your responses by actually making calls. Okay. I am going to give you guys leads every time you come here. Okay. What you're going to end up realizing is that your friends and people are better leads than I'm giving you. No matter what lead I'm giving you, it's a cold lead. Cold just means this person doesn't know you. So people are going to do business with you because you know them, that they're friends with you. They know who you are, right? So even if you're new in this business, your friends want to help you, right? If you say I'm just started in real estate and I'm learning everything, can I walk you through the process? Help me. So usually new agents are usually working with buyers first. And then those buyers 5-7 years later turn into sellers. And that's the normal course. Now, once you have a listing, listings are gold because as when you don't have any business, it's really hard to get that first piece of business. Once you have that listing, you want to market the heck out of it. And you have people walking into your open house. Every single person that comes through the door, is a lead. That's a golden opportunity. Neighbors. I look at my open houses as an opportunity that for me to meet neighbors. I feel like it's my interview time, an open house. That's when neighbors are coming in. They're seeing how I present the home, what marketing pieces I have on the table, how I say hello and talk to them, walk them through if they are open to it, answer questions. That's my interview, is that for the neighbors. Because neighbors are coming in, they're not coming in just to be looky-loos. They're coming in because they want to see how much this house is to know how much their house is and why. That's always the question, is why. Maybe they're thinking about doing something, maybe not now, maybe in the future. And when you can find out their time frame for whatever it is they're there for, then it's a matter of following up constantly, consistently, and using something like Command to put them in, and then there's a follow-up system. So we have KW Command. We do have a company that will help you put your database, load your contacts into Command. I think there's an email that went out to everyone.
Would you be so kind to explain what the KW?
What is KW? So KW Command is our technology platform, and it's a contact management system. It's more than that. Part of Command is the contact management system, which allows you to put a contact in it. So you can put a contact in your phone, right? It's called contact.
Yeah.
You open it up, and that's someone is in your phone with their name, their phone number, their email address.
It's organized as this, though.
But it doesn't tell you when to call them.
Ah.
And it doesn't have notes attached to them. You can, but it's a pain.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so when you block your 1 hour a day to make your calls, you're gonna have KW Command up. You're gonna enter their name, their phone number, their email. You'll pull them up on your screen. You'll call them. Hi, this is JJ, just checking in. How are you? Do you have any plans in real estate for 2023? Is there anything I can help you with? Do you have any family members looking? How are their kids, college, graduating, coming back? I can help you with anything, buying, selling, leasing, whatever it is. Any family member, please, I would love the referral. That's it. That's my whole conversation. I get off the phone, I type in the little note section, everything I documented, and then before I press close, I put a follow-up date of when I'm gonna call them back.
Usually that is, well, it depends on the situation, depends on every individually, or you.
Yes, so there are different, I'm gonna help with Command also. So I know Joshua has been training people in Command.
Okay.
I'm a tech guy, so I'm gonna really get into it with you guys. And hopefully you guys will embrace it. Because if you do, that's where success comes from. So if you're open to it, I know that that's the difference between a successful agent and a non-successful agent. If you have a database and a contact management system. So here's what happens with the contact management system. Today, you have your 1 hour blocked and you call, say, 10 people. You enter those 10 people and then you're gonna follow up, you're gonna put when you're calling them next, right? Now, there's all sorts of things that you can also do with command, like they will be automatically emailed certain things. But when that next day, so the next day I'm coming and I'm doing the same thing. The next day I'm coming and doing the same thing. The next day, the same thing. On day 14 or day 21 or day 30, I'm gonna come to my screen and it's gonna have a whole list of people that I need to call to follow up with. And then I'm gonna go back to the notes before I call each person.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, hey,
Remember
last time we
the
talked,
conversation.
you were saying your dog was at the vet, everything was still okay. Did anything change with this person or that person? I see someone's graduating soon. So you're gonna get to a point where once you start making your calls every day, everything for you in the future is gonna be automatic because you're gonna have so many people that you need to follow up with. And then every person that walks in your open house is a lead, right? Now, again, the leads I'm going to give you are cold leads. These are people that need to sell. Don't be afraid to call them and get hung up on. You know, that's just how it is. But you are coming from a place of help. And so I do want to just, go through a little dialogue of what we can say to these people. Yeah.
What's a good general rule of thumb for following up with someone time frame wise?
So that depends on their timing, right? So we call it getting to the truth. And we don't want to waste our time with anybody. There are serial, what do you call them? Serial lookulas, just people that have to see every single property for no reason. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There are people that write offers that can't qualify for a loan. They just love the action and being part of the process. But those people will just waste your time. I don't know why there are people like this. They just, and the worst call is someone that says, I'm coming, your phone will ring, I'm coming from Chicago.
No, they're like your
No, I know.
supplier.
I'm kidding.
Just not the right deal
I'm
for
kidding.
them.
I'm kidding.
But I gained their trust by saying this is not the right property, because now they told me, for sure, we're gonna go with you because you already told us.
Okay.
You were like honest with us and we appreciate it, so,
Okay. So, but let's say you get a call now from someone from New York
yeah.
and they say, I'm coming into town this weekend and I want to see houses,
Had one from Miami, yeah,
right? And then what they're really asking for is a tour guide,
yeah.
right? And really, you're gonna show them all around town. They're gonna ask you, are you familiar with the area? You'll pick them up from the airport because, oh my God, I have a buyer. You're picking them up and then you're schlepping them all over the place. And then they end up leaving, bye-bye, thank you. And that was just a waste of time. So I want you guys just to be aware of that. Don't waste your time.
That's something that just can't happen. You can't really
Right.
filter that.
Okay, so.
You don't know until you
Right, so
know.
I'm never gonna pick someone up from the airport.
Okay.
I've had that request several times. I'm never gonna do that. I will work one day with a buyer, taking them out. I will work one day without me making them show me something. Once I've invested a day with them, they have to start showing me something. Like, I'm not gonna continue. Proof of funds. Proof of funds means a bank statement that has their name, a dollar amount, and current date. That's what I want to see. And I am very careful about doctored what it is. I want to make sure it's legit. It's a legit document. Yeah.
But can you, because we can do a lot of things online, if they are coming to visit, can you just start the process like doing us do virtual houses online? So when they get here, you can feel like more like they're more committed.
Yeah, so I mean, you're obviously gonna have a feeling of who you're dealing with and you got to go with your gut on everything. But I'm just saying, like, when it really comes down to it, your time, I would rather lose a hope buyer. I'd rather lose that buyer and not waste time and only work with someone who really is gonna buy.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to say. So you're gonna go with your own gut on how you're talking to that person. But I know for me, I am willing to trust someone for one day,
Okay, okay.
that, but then they're gonna have to show me the money,
That's a good point.
right? I don't know how long this class is. I could talk forever, yeah.
About
So
15 years.
for a foreclosure or pre-foreclosure.
Yeah.
What are their options?
So, okay, so nobody likes to foreclose. They don't want to foreclose. So let's going back to that. Thank you for asking. If you loan money against a property, the most money that you're gonna get back is the amount of your loan plus fees attached to it, right? You're not gonna make money. You're gonna get your money back plus the fees and interest, whatever's due to you. Now, if nobody shows up at the auction and you're the foreclosing lender, if nobody shows up, you just got the property. Okay, but technically, I mean, you would think that someone's gonna show up and bid on it, and it depends. So now this is due diligence. Now, I really don't want to get into, is it the first or second or third foreclosing? The who has priority. I don't want to get into that today. Right now, I want to focus on listing properties, people that are in trouble. The first step is getting your foot in the door and getting an appointment to meet with them to discuss how much money they can get for their property. You want to get that meeting. Once you get an appointment for a meeting, that's when you call me and you say, JJ, I got a listing appointment. And we're going to prepare for that together. Okay, that you are my number one A priority when I get that call. I will kick everyone out of my office. You have an appointment. We are going to prepare you. You're going to be a professional real estate agent walking into that appointment. Okay.
The appointment's immediately.
Get the appointment, call me. I will get you prepared for that appointment. And that's my job.
I have a question that's been on my mind for a while. When a listing on the MLS is offered at a 2% commission,
Yes.
as a buyer's agent, can you negotiate that number?
And the reason I'm sighing is because everything in real estate is negotiable. There is something called Code of Ethics, paragraph 16, number 16. God ask me that. So normally I would use a form. Let's see, can I? Oh, I can do this. So can you?
You're sharing your screen.
Yeah, yeah. See that? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. CAR Code of Ethics.
What's the C what?
This is the Code of Ethics.
CAR, California Association of Realtors.
No, CAR. See, I didn't understand that. CAR. Gotcha.
And NAR, so this is National Association of Realtors. So because we're realtors, we have a code of ethics that we must abide by. And Article
1616.
I think it's 1616, I think. I'll hold to it. There we go. Realtors acting as subagents or buyer representatives shall not use the terms of an offer to attempt to modify the listing broker's offer of compensation. Okay, everyone with me? You can't use the offer to attempt to modify the broker's offer of compensation. Or otherwise we will be in violation. So,
Please trying to break that down.
yes.
Very good.
I can't write an off, okay, so a property's offered for $1 million. A property's offered for $1 million. the listing advertised in the MLS is 2%. And I write an offer for $1 million. And in the paragraph, it says
Modify that.
compensation to be 2.5% to buyer's broker. You're not allowed to do that.
Gotcha, modify that, gotcha.
Now, there is a different form that I can use before I submit my offer that will circumvent that. I want you guys to just be aware of how it's done. And it's the cooperating broker compensation agreement that I talked about earlier. Okay, so the cooperating broker compensation agreement has a checkbox. The checkbox says property is listed and the MLS offer is modified here as, and then you'll put 2.5. Okay, and then you'll have the listing broker sign that before you submit your offer. So it's a cooperating broker compensation agreement, and you're gonna use the checkbox that the compensation is being modified.
You can do
You
it.
can do it, just don't make it part of the offer.
Yeah.
Don't make it part of the offer.
Understood.
And then the other broker.
The other
agrees to it, and then we can go
Exactly,
forward.
exactly. So I'm just sharing that with you because I don't want you guys to do anything. That'd be challenging. Anything else? Okay, I'm gonna give you guys some leads. There is a form called, this is from Bold. So Keller Williams has something called Bold, where it's a intense training program, coaching program. And they want you to make 20 contacts a day.
BOL.
BOLD.
D.
Yes.
To make, which mean like, to meet like new 20 people a day or like?
Any 20 people. So what a contact is a conversation with someone about real estate.
And it could be somebody, it could be a follow-up?
Anybody. And yeah, you follow.
Okay.
Yeah. 20 conversations, 20 live conversations. And the word real estate or something like that came up in the conversation. That's all. Anything I can help you with, real estate. So that's a lead. That's a contact. So Bold gets you to do 20 of these a day. That's what, now, if you can do 20 calls a day, your career is made. This is the hardest challenge for every real estate agent, is to make your calls. And the only way to do it is to block the time. Like, for sure you block the time to have breakfast or lunch, right? This is just as important.
And this is
More
your,
important.
and this could be your friends, this could be people.
Anybody.
Got the MLS, anybody.
As long as you're having a real, not another agent,
Yeah, not only.
not another agent.
Gotcha.
Someone that
Client or-
potentially you can do business with. So if you email me, I can send you this form, because it's normally be part of Bold. JJ@wallack.com. It's JJ Wallack at KW, either one.
What's the name of the form now?
It's called the 20 contact form. 20 contact forms. All right. There's also something I want you guys to Google. And it's called, just if you Google the words Realtor 180 steps. Realtor 180 steps. You're gonna get a form that looks like this. And it basically has 180 things that a realtor does. You'll find that there are people use online, there's different versions of it. But if you Google the word Realtor 180 steps, this is everything that we do. And this is good to show a seller on a listing appointment. I think tomorrow we're gonna have a listing class. That's what it says on the calendar. So this would be part of my listing presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this would be part of my presentation. It's everything. So you guys can do that. We'll talk about it again tomorrow, but anything that you ever come across that you think will gain, present more value to your seller, why they should use you, it should be part of your listing presentation. So you should have a folder that just says listing presentation. Anytime anything comes up, just put it in there, or even a bookmark in your browser that says listing presentation. And anytime you come across something that, you know what, that would make you look great on an appointment, just put it in there. Leads. Okay, this says I stop recording. This says, this lead is intended for JJ Wallack, do not distribute.
Ah,
Okay, so don't get me in trouble. How many leads should I?
Anything.
Six. Okay, I'm gonna give you 10. How's that? I'm gonna give everyone 10 leads, 10, 20, 30, 40. 80.
Just make
Maybe
it
eight.
easy for everyone.
Let's see what happens. 2, 4, 6, 8. So these are people that are in trouble right now.
Didn't get this from the MLS, right? Oh, yes, sorry.
I did not get this from anyone else. I subscribed for this. Get money, real money.
What's the geographic area?
So this is Los Angeles County.
And this, I'm assuming Redex is the.
FedEx is the company.
I bet.
Let's see. Luck of the draw.
That's a stupid question.
There is no stupid question.
Oh, there's one on each side, huh? Okay.
Yes,
It's double
We've
sided.
already been against the do not call this.
it says DNC right next to
Okay,
it.
I just.
It's not a stupid question. That is a $10,000 fine question. You should definitely ask that.
What's the DNL?
National Do Not Call List. Call the number on that
Yeah,
list.
but it's not here, right?
It says DNC, it says DNC right to the bottom.
Call the number on that list. That's a potential $10,000 fine.
Number that say DNC.
You guys get rewarded for coming here. How's that?
Oh, there you go.
Hey JJ, did we get rewarded for being on Zoom?
Gotta be present. That's the catch. Oh my
All right. I'll come tomorrow to pick that up.
Yes. Gotta be present for that. Okay, I owe you a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
I owe
Okay.
you. My office is right against that wall. I give it to you. Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
What's the best way to utilize the MLS in terms of prospecting, would you say? Because I heard can you search for sale by owners on the MLS? I know you can search for expired leases.
You cannot search for sale by owners on the MLS as far as I know, because the MLS is for brokers.
Okay. But how would you take advantage of the MLS if you wanted to search for leads? How would you use that to your advantage?
So it is very time consuming to use the MLS for lead generation. The part of the MLS that you would use is public records, but then even that public records doesn't give you contact information. So then you're gonna start wasting your time on contact. When I say wasting your time, you can spend half an hour trying to locate someone and then get a disconnect. It's get the wrong number. So usually I would recommend paying for a service like this that is giving you all the information, and you can spend your time calling instead of doing the research.
Would you recommend setting up like a dialer to do 2 calls at one time? So
100%.
one you,
100%.
and then one's an automated message that you record or something like that?
Yeah, they have it. Yeah.
Jerry takes care of all of that with the
I
title?
don't know who Jerry is.
Jerry Ferris?
Title will, so what I'm talking about is paid. Like, I don't know, title companies are under very strict regulations. Ask Warren. So they definitely want your business and they'll work with you, but they might have things that need to be paid for or not. I'm not sure. So it's very important that you have a relationship with your title officer. So Lauren and I go way back. So just to tell you about prospecting and follow-up. Lauren came into an open house of mine many, many years ago, and he was asking for business. And I said, Lauren, you're a great guy. I'm very loyal to someone that I give my business to. And he came to my next open house at a different property, and the same thing. As Lauren, I'm loyal. He did this probably honestly 6 open houses, six different properties he came to. And he said, just give me one thing. And now I've given Lauren all my business. So just want you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah, Lauren, I'm sorry.
So much.
As far as its expires go, if you want to pay for something, Vulcan7.com is a good resource for expireds.
Sorry, what did you?
Just VULCAN, Vulcan7.com. But it's a pay site, and I don't want to throw another the monthly bill on top of you. But you'll get the expired from the MLS, and then go to a free site called truepeoplesearch.com, TRUE. I find that to be reasonable. There's other ones that cost, and I find TruePeopleSearch.com just as good. And you're not going through hundreds of them, it's one at a time. The True People Search will flush out an owner's name. If it's a corporation LLC, that's another discussion. Difficult to find on purpose. You may have to look at the title apps and then find a concurrent loan for the managing partner who signed on behalf of the LLC or corp. Then you see the name, you see JJ Wallack, managing partner of such and such LLC, then you can go about True People searching JJ. But generally, just take it from the MLS, expireds, and try True People Search. It's free and you're not going through hundreds of them.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Yes, thank you.
Questions? Okay, yeah.
This, when you Google this, you Google, go to oneofyourneedstep.com.
Oh, for that, yes, just, it's not gonna be a .com, it's just gonna be a result. And then you'll have to see who has this PDF uploaded. There might be different versions of it, people modify it, you'll wanna modify it yourself and make it part of your listing presentation, because you need to establish value when you're with the seller and tell them why to hire you, right? So you're showing them everything you do. You don't just sit there and take their listing, there's a lot.
Possible to take a picture of that.
If you email me, I can send you a copy. Just send me an email and send me the 180 steps.
Okay, so take one of these, for example, one of these leads.
Okay.
It says the auction is scheduled for 6:20.
Okay.
Right? So
Yep.
that's
Imminent.
right? 13 days. What happens if you secure a listing?
If you secure a listing agreement, you will contact the trustee. And you will tell them, the seller, I just signed a listing agreement with the seller. And we would like please to postpone the auction and give us time to sell the property on the market for the most money that we can get from the seller.
Okay.
Nobody is going to try to prevent a seller from getting money.
Okay.
That would be unethical. So even though they're in this process, now, before you call these people, I did not vet that their properties aren't listed.
Okay.
So either on the MLS or in Zillow, type the address. That's all you have to do. Just type it, make sure it's not listed. We are not allowed to call.
Oh, I see.
Right.
We're not allowed to call a seller if their property is listed.
Right.
We can only contact the listing agent.
One more question, if I need.
No, I'm sorry. If a seller calls you while their property is listed, that's okay. If they're the ones initiating the contact, that's fine. Right? A seller has a property listed, they're hunting for new agents before their listing expires, that's fine. But I can't call that person.
I'm just saying, if I give you my email address now, could you
Oh,
just email
okay.
it to me?
Yes.
All right.
AJ, where's the, oh, sorry.
Question is, what Lauren just answered, which was, do you have a preferred platform to find out people's phone numbers?
So I pay. So I use Title, I pay for that. I think it's a few cents per lead.
Search.
No, I use actually Title Company. So if you talk to Lauren, or you talk to Brandon, or you talk to Clearmark, they'll probably set you up online with a way to get customer contact. But Lauren just gave you a free resource.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want to get phone numbers in a large area, let's say that you're farming and this is your farm and you have 1,000 homes. And going to True People Search is just not efficient, right? So you want to buy, and California says you have to buy the phone numbers and emails within your 1,000 record farm. Email me, I can get you that farm, but you're going to have to take it and upload it to a third-party site that will sell you the phone numbers and emails. Again, California law just says I can't do it. So I can get you the raw data, you upload it to them, and within that 1,000 records, you'll say, yes, I want to buy phone numbers and emails. And I think they're 5 cents a piece per phone, 6 cents.
Anywhere from 5 to 12 cents a piece.
And you buy them, you own them at your farm. So that's worth a bunch of them. And out of the 1,000, how many will you get? 300, 400, I don't know how many, so obviously not everybody's going to have to be a match. But again, to be perfectly honest with everybody, we all send you to the same place. It's called Title Toolbox. We white label it as First American Title Toolbox. Fidelity will say Fidelity Title Toolbox. Clearmark will be Clearmark Title Toolbox. It's just this third-party site that we send you to. because legally we have to.
It is called title2.com.
Yeah, but you gotta email me
Gotcha.
and I'll get you access, because if you go direct to titletoolbox.com, you can't log in, you have to be invited by a title company.
I see.
Email me, I send you, it's a little, I'm sorry, it's a little wonky and complicated, but it lives under an umbrella of something we have called Ignite RE. So there's an umbrella that I will send you an email inviting you to sign up to Ignite RE. Once you're in Ignite RE, Title Toolbox and a lot of other things we have. under
I see.
the password.
Gotcha.
So how do we get your email address? Is it-
No cards. I got cards.
Okay, great, thank you.
JJ?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, so sorry.
That's okay. What's up?
I guess my question is more regarding on how to initiate contact. Now, these are people, for example, the contacts that we have, the possible leads, right? They're going through this thing. What is a delicate and good way to open the conversation?
When you call these people?
When they call the leads, yes.
I say, hi, this is JJ Wallack with Keller Williams in Beverly Hills. I saw unfortunately your property is going for auction. Do you want to try to sell it before it goes to auction?
Okay, well, have you thought of the possibility maybe of selling it?
Do you want to sell it before it goes to
Do
auction?
you want to sell it? Gotcha. Just like that?
Just like that.
All right.
Want to sell it before it goes to auction?
You want to sell before this.
You only have 1 second before this person hangs
So the
up.
second line, I saw unfortunately.
Hi, this is JJ Wallack with Keller Williams Beverly Hills. I saw your property's coming up for auction. Do you want to sell it before it goes to auction?
Okay,
When one of these is.
Great. And then the follow-up is great. When can I come over and take a look at it?
would you like to,
Then
would you like to sell your property?
just set up an appointment, get off the phone as fast as you can, make the appointment, call me, and we'll prepare you for that appointment.
All right, so it's that simple. Would you
If it
like to
shows
sell your
auction.com.
property before it goes into auction?
If it shows auction.com, does that mean it's listed or not?
Auction.com is a private company.
Right.
That sells property at auction. That is not a foreclosure. It could, may be a foreclosure,
I mean, it's.
but that's a private
One of
company.
these, but then,
It's listed right now on auction.com. What do you mean? It's listed on auction, so it's probably has a listing agreement already.
so they have a listing of.
Probably. I mean, I think anything on auction.com has a listing agreement. I haven't done it in a while.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
MLS, check, literally go to the MLS, check it.
Yeah, check it. And Zillow.
Active or not?
Yeah, check MLS.
So
check-
so on Zillow, some of them are pre-foreclosure, which means they're not listed anywhere.
Either it's listed or it's not, so. That's all. I mean, you can even ask the seller, is your property currently listed? I mean, yeah. So, and the seller will tell you, I mean, if you say, do you want to sell it before it goes to auction? The next words out of the seller's mouth might be, it's already listed.
It's already listed.
And you would want to put it on the market, at market value or a little less?
Well, then we're gonna have a meeting about that listing appointment, and then we're gonna do comps.
I'm jumping the gun. Oh, please.
No, go ahead.
I'm jumping the gun here, but let's say I make the call, would you like to sell your property? But like, yeah, I want to see the possibility of doing that. How do I follow up to that? It's like, oh, okay, so can we make an appointment so we can sit down and talk, or yeah, I can explain the options? I know I'm gonna call you, but
No. I don't want you, I want you to just be firm, no hesitation. And just say, do you want to sell your property before it goes to auction? Great, when can we meet? When can we meet? When can I see the property? Give me a little time, like, don't make the appointment 2 hours from now.
and a good time,
We
maybe
have-
at least
I mean,
48 hours or something.
No, I mean, it could be the same day.
Oh,
If it's the
gotcha.
morning, we can do it, by the afternoon.
Gotcha.
But again, right, we gotta think about timing, because we don't want to catch someone right before dinner. So try to make the appointment right now, ask them what time dinner is, can I come right after?
Right after dinner, right after lunch,
Yes,
or
yes.
maybe 10 o'clock,
Or-
10
or-
in the morning or something like that.
Thing next morning, yeah.
First thing next morning.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So just an expired listing that was for sale and no longer sold, does that mean that the seller was working with an agent, but they're no longer
Okay,
working with it?
so great question. There's expireds and there's withdrawns and canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Those are, right? Expired, canceled, withdrawn. We need to make sure that the listing is actually over. So if it's expired, the listing's over. If it's canceled or withdrawn, there still might be an active listing agreement. It's just been canceled or withdrawn from the MLS,
Okay.
but there still might be an active listing agreement. So that's, I just want to be careful.
So expired is.
Expired
That's a
is
good one.
over, so.
Okay.
And then this DNC, obviously, these two numbers, for example, I can reach, none of these I shouldn't touch, correct?
When you search for an expired listing on the MLS, it's not gonna show you the owner's number, it's gonna show you.
When you search for an expired listing, you're not gonna have any contact information.
No.
No, the MLS doesn't give you contact information for homeowners.
I think this might help you out. So if you're farming and you want to buy just a list of numbers, you're not going to necessarily know if they're expired, under contract, under anything like that. Create your farm, send it over to title. If you want a list of expireds or what JJ has given us today, foreclosures, or even for sale by owners, you're going to go to a third-party company, most likely, and you're going to pay for that list specifically. RedX is a company that does that. Landvoice is a company that does that. And also, if you're thinking about getting a dialer, almost every dialer is going to have an additional service for it. Mojo Dialer, for example. A single line dialer on Mojo Dialer is about $130. If you also want a list of expireds, that's another $100. So you're paying $230 a month. I have my single line dialer and my expireds, and my foreclosures and my for sale by owners. Be careful before you decide to make that investment.
Okay, so thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mother has trying to get money out of your pocket when you're a realtor. Everyone's trying to get you to subscribe. They have the best lead system, the best this. All you have to do is pay this money every month and we guarantee you business. We cold call for you. We farm. Don't pay anyone for anything. You guys can get leads on your own by calling people, calling your friends, getting listings, getting people coming in through your door. You know, this is a legit company because obviously they're giving you real contact information. But if you're paying for leads and they're giving you 4, I just gave you that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So don't waste your money on any of these, whatever. I've wasted my money on everything. Trust me, I've done it all.
I have to focus on farming.
Yeah.
And going through title and your circle of influence.
Yeah.
And every piece of business that you get, never always ask for a referral. Every other dollar, you don't even want to start spending those dollars until you're making so much over here. You're just trying to add another.
So when you call these people today and they don't answer your call or they tell you never to call them again, are you going to call them tomorrow?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh, say that again.
Okay.
They tell you, don't call me again. You call them again tomorrow.
What if they tell you the same thing?
And you call them the next day. I'm telling you, and it's because you did. And if you're nice about it and say, look, I know that you're getting hounded right now. I know you told me not to call you, but I care. I do really care about you. That's why I'm a realtor. I do care about getting sellers the most money. I really can help you. What time can I meet you? You can give me 5 minutes. Okay?
If they hang up in your face.
They can hang up, fine, but call them again. Because the person who does, the money is in the follow-up. That's a very famous line that I tell myself all the time. The money is in the follow-up. It's not on the first call, it's in the follow-up. And it's gonna take 6 or 7 follow-ups to get the business. So now, what you're gonna learn is it's easier to call your friends and people that you know than cold call, right? But you need to make calls every day. If you only have so many friends, right? So you're gonna run out, then you're gonna have to start cold calling. So this is just part of your business. And if you do it consistently every single day, just from the sheer volume of numbers, you're gonna get better at it and you're gonna turn it into money. And that's why we're here. We're here to make money. The only way you're gonna get money is to look at that phone and eventually pick it up and make the call, right? So you have to do it. Everyone is gonna go through this fear of picking up the phone. What are they gonna say? What am I gonna say? This is totally natural. Everyone goes through it and you have to flex the calling muscle. It's a muscle that must be exercised every single day. Once you've done something 66 times, you're natural. Like it takes 66 days of doing something to make it a habit. That's the one thing. So yeah.
Do you have a preferred company that does scripts?
Scripts. So Keller Williams has scripts. I have scripts. I have scripts from all different coaches. I shouldn't be sharing those, but let's see what happens. But I do have volumes of Keller Williams scripts. So for sure we'll be using those in class. Yeah.
That's great.
Ask
Psychology behind it.
ChatGPT for scripts.
Oh yeah. Oh, ChatGPT. So I was playing with that. I mean, ChatGPT is just insane. Like, I was asking it some really crazy questions in real estate. And it was like spitting business plans out to me. I was like, whoa. Yeah, that's a great resource. ChatGPT. Great resource. All right, did I give you anything of value today? I hope so. I hope so. If there's anything you took from today, anything, it's that you have to make your calls every day.
All right.
Business is just not going to get handed to you. You have to go after it. And I want to see you guys produce. I want to see you make money. You know, in the past, when I've done this, I've focused on the classes